Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. So I'm so sorry I lost a beautiful, but it was beautiful because I was getting the clues but not so, and I will tell you why in a second. But it's a reading I lost when it comes to air signs. I can tell you it was over an hour long, but I just cannot send it out, because of the sound. It didn't record most of it, so I can tell you what I have seen. It's like, first and foremost, I can tell you that, for you, your mind is set on the fact that you feel like, you don't want your DMs anymore. And I can tell you what Spirit was trying to tell me is that you guys, are going to have to talk to each other no matter what. And definitely that feeling that you don't know what he's doing for the moment, but the same thing goes for you, Like he doesn't also know what you're doing, thinking, feeling, it's like for you, you always had problems, communicating. I'll start with that, because those were the cards for guidance. I can tell you, when it comes to past energies, it's literally like something has happened with your DM and nobody asked you to make a decision, but you felt like that, like, I'm deciding that I don't want this thing, when the card keeps telling me, that there it was your Two of Cups. So literally, like your decision to walk away was a little bit irrational, So, you have to bear with me so I can find those things back, but I have the visual in front of me. I can tell you another thing that I was channeling is literally like at this point, you're a little bit in this type of self-destruction mode, over your DMs. I could see that, I think that with you, this is what I'm channeling. For some of you, if it's not just like, a raw type of depression, I believe that some of you are actually indulging in like self-destructive type of behaviors, and all of that is because of your DM. And I can tell you, on one side, you're deciding that you do no longer want to be with him, that you're done with him for some way, that you decided yourself that you wanted to walk away from this thing, for your own good. And if that's not the case, you've made some kind of a decision, concerning this Tower moment and this Two of Cups that I can see in the past, So if you didn't walk away for yourselves, by yourselves, I can tell you another scenario is that you've actually experienced this Two of Cups with your DM not too long ago, in the sense that you may have seen each other or spent time, with each other, and somehow, a decision's been made, when it comes to that. And I can tell you how it's leaving you actually. So from somebody, and I'm sensing it is you making a decision, is literally like, first and foremost, you rejected this thing like for nothing for some of you, quite frankly. And I'll tell you where all these things are coming from, because this reading was rich, long, and I'm telling you, like the mental element, it's like very different from mine. So sometimes I'm not saying that it's harder than any, but your mental, blueprint is so complex, that for somebody to enter it and to tell you the things that you need to hear about yourself is literally like your readings are an enigma to me. And that's that, I can tell you, I could definitely see that, like somebody getting deeper into some kind of depression, and I could definitely see also like self-destructive behaviors. For some of you guys, it has to do with addiction, quite frankly. And this is where you find a little bit of your comfort, when it comes to this twin flame thing. You X'd your DM out, you feel, or like people would see, oh, everything is fine with her, is because you, and I can sense that for many air signs, and especially DFs, it's like you're hurt in silence, so literally nobody knows those things about you. As I could channel that with like the moon, in reverse, meaning all the things I just told you, nobody really knows, and I can tell you why you would go towards what I feel, quite frankly, is like substances or alcohol and things like that. For some of you is because, you have to keep your mind quiet, as an air sign. But that's not the way to do it. I'll tell you what I saw. This is not over. It's just the beginning. I'll tell you what else I saw. It was really funny, that I feel like some of you actually have somewhat of a support system that's making you stronger for the moment. And I could see a woman in particular, and quite frankly, I could see myself somehow in that. But I can tell you, even the people that are like closest to you, and even this newfound like support system a little bit that I can see around you. And I'll tell you one thing about that. If that's not the case, like now that you have somebody to help you, you'll find yourself wanting somebody to help you in the future, because these addictions and self-destructive type of behavior that I saw, sooner than later, for some of you guys, you won't be able to get out of that by yourselves, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Yeah, so for some of you, you'll find yourself having some kind of like a support system around you, or actually I saw honestly a woman, beside you. So it's the feeling a little bit of like each one, helps one type of situation. You will see you'll see yourself in those like connections, or connection to somebody that's going to help you. I wanted to say hurt you. That's not the case, to help you. But you have the tendency to hide things from other people. In a sense, if somebody is not patient with you to enter your world a little bit like that, you're not going to tell them about what's going on with you. And I can tell you, even within the support system that I can see, and I can see a one woman in particular, you don't tell her, really what you are going through. And it's like your pain, your depression, your trials and tribulations is like nobody else is allowed to see that. And these self-harming a little bit or destructive type of behaviors that I see, I can tell you nobody knows that either, but again, I saw definitely addiction, in the making. And I can tell you they're not new to you. For some reason, it's been your way of coping with things a little bit. But I could feel that the stuff that you've encountered with your DM lately is sending you more into that type of spiral, Another thing that I was channeling, first and foremost, I could see your union, in the cards for you too. But there are steps, to wait for it. And the first thing that we saw, and it's something that you've already thought of, is like two scenarios. It's either it's about the place where you're staying, it's literally like you want out of that. I can see that, like somebody deciding to leave, or to relocate, for their own good, basically, and to have their independence. For some others, it was about relocating or like leaving actually somebody that some of you, this is specific, is actually married to, are actually married to. And I can tell you, if that's the case, you don't have to wonder why your DM is not coming your way. That's not how it works in spirit, If you have any covenant or ties, or like if you're married to somebody else, your DM is not going to show up in the form that you want him to. That's just not how it works. And for others, it's literally like you're doing the right thing by trying to make a move, or something, because I could feel like some people felt a little bit trapped, because of the fact that they were actually living with somebody else. And then we saw, the card like sexuality is a little bit like, you cannot live out your intimacy for some of you in the way that you're living now. So, it may be a boyfriend that you don't need anymore. He does not allow you to move on, from your life. It may be an ex, or a husband that you don't want to be with anymore. Being with him is not going to let you fulfill things, in your life. And I could also see, some people living with family and just being like, I'm not free here. let me just free myself. I can tell you, you're going to have to plan those things, you know, in also like a financial way and form, if it makes sense to you. Just be ready for that. And I could channel also the fact that for some people this move is not going to be the best thing because of these like mental issues a little bit that I mentioned earlier. It's literally if you're addicted or if you're destroying or destructing yourself in silence, being by yourself is not going to help, you know. So if you're married, you should do that like as quick as possible. You have to know where you stand. And if you're not married and you know you're dealing or with relatives and things like that, maybe you should take it a little bit easier as to you should worry about yourself first, because if you take that negative energy onto your next place, you know, where you're going to live or something like that, then you'll really be by yourself, and then you can really self-destruct, if it makes sense to you. And I can tell you, just concerning this thing that I can see from the past, is literally like you were sacrificing yourself by living with somebody else, and you're also going to have to sacrifice something, you know, to be able to move on from that. And I could see also like a problem with you guys is you guys' communication, you know. It's funny because it keeps telling me that some of you do not know how to talk. And I feel like you have that really, I'm not saying like it's worse than anything else, but this bad tendency is literally like you don't say what you mean, you know. So when people try to help you or trying to tell you something, you don't even fuss and fight with them. You just look at them and be like, oh, okay. So they don't know what you're thinking. They cannot help you. You don't even get mad. So, you know, it's like a dead end type of street, you know, or a stalemate or something like that. A stalemate, sorry, or something like that. And you cannot move on, you know, because you let nobody near you. There's no discussion with you. Once you're fed up, I could sense it for some people. You just turn around and walk away from the situation. And you don't even share what's inside of you, you know. So it's like, who can really help you is what I was channeling. So, you know, the thing that I could channel for air signs, and please don't mind the fan in the back, you know, speaking of air, is like literally you keep too much to yourself, you know. And I can tell you this, like you're a little bit like indulging too much in something, you know. And I had that with the base chakra card and the devil's card, you know. So I know we're speaking of like addictive type of behaviors, you know, and things. And it's like, you know, I'm telling you, it's nothing new, this thing. It's like no matter what it is, it can go from food, you know, from food to drinking, literally, like alcohol. I can tell you this kind of like isolating yourself and a little bit like self-destructing is like something that you had to go through for the longest time, you know. And this here is like in an unhealthy ways become your coping mechanism, you know. And I told you it's definitely geared towards like quieting your mind. But I can see somebody here with the card solitude, you know, and all the things that I'm telling you. I could see somebody that definitely, you know, keeps to themselves. And it's like, you know, on the surface, you would think that this person is just fine, you know, but her secret garden is not so pleasant of a place. I can tell you that much, you know. But it's like you're so good at it. It's literally like you found a way to convince yourself about those things so you can sell it to other people. And like, you know, nobody knows what you're really feeling inside. It's like those things, you know, have become somewhat of a pattern to you. And I could tell you after that, and it was really funny because I could see myself in that reading, you know, in a sense. I don't know if it's through listening to me right now, and all of the things that I'm telling you, they are so specific, you know, that please just take what resonates with you. Though I channeled like air energy, so it may very well be something that you guys share. but I could see myself in the reading, and I could see myself or somebody else like being a source of hope to you. In a sense, you know, if somebody can identify my problem and I have not said it to anybody, then I know that I have to work on that, you know, because it's like spirit telling me, you know, to do so. And we keep getting this like Ace of Swords, you know, with you. In a sense, you know, I'm telling you, this mental clarity is something that you're going to have to work on, because I can tell you your mind is playing tricks on you for the moment. And just bear with me, you'll understand why in a second. So another thing, there was an element of like home, you know, or family and tribe, you know, that kept, you know, coming back. And it's like I can feel it for some of you. Your environment as to where you reside, you know, is like it's not suitable to you anymore. That's all I'll say, you know, but there's definitely something about that, and you would know if it speaks to you like right away. Well, we also had like with the reading, what I could channel is that some of you are definitely lacking, you know, self-love, which is why you cannot be or have that like magician energy that you see sometimes other DFs, you know, displaying, or the ones that you have heard of, you know, is because, you know, a little bit that path is blocked, you know, when it comes to you. In a sense, you cannot unleash your superpowers, quote unquote, because you are still like somewhat of a basic level, quite frankly, without, you know, offending anybody. That's what I could see. It's like if you don't love yourself, God is not going to give you those divine type of powers, you know. And I could tell you like those are energies of the past. You've been worried about that a little bit. But I could definitely, you know, see somebody just moving out and try to make, you know, their lives better, or relocating or something like that, you know. Definitely like setting themselves in motion, you know, for a chance at a better life, you know. So when it comes to present energies, if it makes sense to you, everything that I said, if not, please ask me. I'll gladly answer what you want, because I still have, you know, again, part of the audio and like the visual of the reading. So as to current energies, I can tell you is something that you've seen, you know, about your person that has to do with like this karmic. Your reading was really charged, you know, when it comes to karmic. And from now, this is the part that's interesting, you know, to me. Is literally like you're trapped, you know, in this energy, thinking that your person is going to find better, you know, outside of you. And I'm here to tell you that this is just your perception of things, you know. It is not what it is, but you got your mind locked, you know, on this karmic, and it may very well be these karmics, you know, because it was the Three of Cups in reversed. That's what I could channel. So something else I could see when it comes to those karmics, you know, is that they definitely have some kind of power, you know, on you. It can be one, it can be many of them, but you know, it's definitely that karmic energy as to where your person is sending his energy or his interests, you know. They have a power on you in a sense. When you lay down at night, you find yourself like a little bit stressed, you know, over this. And what I could channel, I'll tell you, if some of you feel like, you know, you were a failure when it comes to that, like, why can't I be like them a little bit, is what I was channeling. Like, you're thinking, well, I'll never be like them, you know, in the future. I'm telling you, it's really funny, because your element is the mental element, but at the same time, you're tricking yourself literally in the wrong direction, you know, is what I could feel. You're too worried about these things, and I can tell you, these karmics and you comparing yourself to them, I could see it here with like the magician. They have a hold on you. It's literally like they got power, you know, on you. And I try to tell you, you know, in the first take is like, you know, you cannot give your energy to these karmics. They're like, you know, evil entities that will gladly receive your energy, and then you find themselves having more and more power, you know, against you. You gotta ignore them altogether. And I can tell you there's no use, in you comparing yourself to anybody else. I gave you that example in my first take, like I'm single, and I'm actually a slim woman. So just to tell you, I'm not bragging here. I'm just telling you everybody wants the opposite. For some people, it may be about your weight, and you feeling like, oh Lord, I wish I was slimmer. And us, thinner people, we just want one thing and one thing only, is like we're waiting for the day we're going to get fat. People, it is what it is. I can tell you all of these things are just like perception. I was watching a very silly show, not too long ago. It's called like 600 Pounds Life, I think, something like that. And I was amazed, people, because I saw all of these women, with actual husband and things. And I'm like, look at this, Lord, just to let you know, it is not about the way that you look, because I can tell you this reading is going to be just about that. It is not my energy, so I know it's somebody else's energy. It's like a little bit you're too worried about your appearance, for the moment. And I can tell you, in divinity, in this world, when it comes to love and finding the right person for you, it doesn't matter, because that's not the thing that they're primarily going to go for. And what you may reject, I can tell you somebody else is going to like that about you. So, another thing that I'm channeling is literally like your DM has become an unwilling victim of this type of thinking, because literally you're willing to give up on him because of the way that you feel and that you see the karmics. Is not something that he's done to you like directly, it's really funny, but this is what I was channeling. This karmics or that type of energy made you feel so bad about yourself a little bit that you're like, you know what, I don't want my DM anymore. And I can tell you, from this type of thinking, you may have like some peace, which we know you're not having because of these bad, behaviors that I can see, from the past. It may give you a sense of relief, for a second, but at the end of it, like, I don't want my DM anymore. But at the end of it, you're left, with that feeling like, you know what, I'm not enough. Quite frankly, that's what you're feeling. And it's funny because I don't get that often, but a little bit like, you're unfair to your person when you treat him like this, because you let, the insecurities that you have inside, like, get the best of you, is the best way that I can put it, So another thing I can feel is definitely that spirit, of procrastination, around you. Is literally like you've known, and that there is still like current energies. You've known for a long time this ability or this tendency that you have to self-destruct, and you keep telling yourself, I'm going to stop tomorrow. I'm sorry if this reading is a little bit specific, but this is definitely what I could channel. Is literally like, okay, I'm going to give up the cigarettes tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day I stop drinking. Tomorrow is the day that I stop, smoking. Tomorrow is the day that I stop, harming myself or eating too much or something of that kind, I had this with like the card procrastination. And then I have another card. I think it was discovering your true purpose or something of that kind, It's like a lot of you, I told you I could see it, I told you before, like you're still looking for your purpose. And I'm telling you, you won't be able to see it as long as you don't have these things that I'm talking about, a little bit in check. You comparing yourself to other DFs, you see, that they have, again, these gifts and stuff like that, and you wonder where yours is, like what's your mission and how can you participate literally actively in this whole twin flame community. For you, it's about like taking care of yourself first, that answer is going to come afterwards. You gotta have those things in check, and stop like procrastinating when it comes to bettering your lives, quite frankly. And then you'll see like your divine mission or something like that. And the reason why your mission, is not clear to you, I can tell you, is because you're very superficial still about this whole soul journey, quite frankly. Is like, I don't know how to explain this, but it's I could see it with the card beauty as I'm saying all those things to you. It's like literally you're too worried about the way that you look, especially to other people. And I can say it has begun before your DM was there, but he made you feel even less secure about yourself, And because you're focused on that level, you cannot reach what you call it, like the depth of your spirituality. And I can tell you that's a big blockage to you guys, or to somebody, listening to me. I can tell you that karmic energy around your DM is giving you anxiety. Another thing that I was channeling is literally end. You gotta rest and rejuvenate from this toxic behaviors that I described. Is literally I can tell you, for some of you, you cannot get out of that by yourself. You're going to have some help of some kind, quite frankly. Some will be able to stop whatever they're doing, by themselves and better their lives. But some are going to need, professional help. And another thing that I was channeling too is if you're married, you're going to have to get yourself together. And this may be specific. I told you before, I could see already, somebody leaving their house for something better. And that could include, somebody that's married. Now I see somebody here literally signing on the dotted line, I am done with this marriage, because I want to go and find my happy home, a little bit like that, like something of your own. So another thing that I was seeing with the card, journey and a man holding a coin was definitely the idea, and it keeps coming back. It came back for us, the collective. But another thing, I can see it here, it may be specific to air signs, it's at this point you're going to have to see your DM. You're going to have to meet the person. Either he comes and see you, or you go and see him, or, you find a way to see each other again. I told you, and I could see it here, which is confirmation. I can see some financial and material changes in somebody's life that, being represented mostly by people, moving out or changing something. I can tell you, I can see this boredom also in your lives, you find yourself just, I have to say it how I saw it, but you find yourself not being content, with your appearance. It was really the key of this reading here. And because of that, you find yourself, yet again by yourself, in this energy of being a little bit envious of others. And it's you're envious of women that your DM didn't even look at, a little bit like that. And it keeps messing with you. I could see, and please take what resonates with you, some people who are definitely not happy with their appearance and making really a big deal out of that, quite frankly. So now as to energies, from the future, because you have about the present, 2 cards, rest and rejuvenate, literally twice beside each other. I can tell you this, toxic things, yet again, that I'm talking about, you're going to have to get that in check, and that karmic energy you're too focused on, you're going to have to get that in check too. And when it comes, to the future, you're going to see, that at this point here, there will be no movement forward before your DM reveals his truth to you. I'll tell you that, it's even if you had yourself in check, even if you were perfect at this time, it wouldn't take away from the fact that he still has to tell you who he is. And because, of 2 10 of Cups cards that are yeah, and you cannot have these things if your ex-husband or soon-to-be ex-husband is living right there with you. So some of you guys are decided, and I can see it here, somebody needing help a little bit, to be able to come out of their addiction or something like that. But you know, if you hide your problems from other people, they cannot help you. And you have like mastered, I can see it for some of you, just the ability to appear as nothing is wrong, and then you find yourself by yourself and you crash, quite frankly. Beside this truth that I can see, the only advice that I can tell you is like check your divine masculine status, you know, as to is he married, what's his story when it comes to those things. And if it's not the case that he is actually married or something of that nature that he's hiding, I can tell you what he's going to tell you is going to be mind-blowing to you people. And it's really funny, you know, but with you, I'm telling you, you're losing your cool a little bit, but it has more to do with something that you are feeling inside instead of something that your DM has actually done to you. And I can tell you it's about you feeling like desirable for the moment. It's like I could feel here a little bit of the energy of someone, if you guys are honest, you know, with yourselves, like, you know, it's not even about your DMs anymore. You're trying to be appealing to every man that may, you know, cross your way. You're trying to be appealing to other women that may cross your path as well. It's a little bit too much of that energy, you know. And I suggest that you detach a little bit from that, because at the end of the day, you can't compare yourself to others, you know. And those things, they're a little bit like, there's something you're not meant to keep in your life, you know, so you will have more to gain by developing yourself, like innerly, and yourself, like worth and your confidence, instead of betting, you know, on like external things to give you value, if it makes sense to you. That's the reason why you keep comparing yourself to others, you know, and it's funny because that sense of sensuality or stuff that I'm channeling about you, you know, you're worried more about the makeup of intimacy, literally, than the actual intimacy. It's really funny. It's like your appeal is the issue, not the fact that nobody is there to please you, nor your DM. If it makes sense to you, that's exactly what I channeled. It's more like what's around intimacy, like how you look, what you wear, how you dress, how you smell, and stuff like that, instead of actually going wild and be natural with your mate, if it makes sense to you. So we keep getting that, you know, in like collective readings, that DMs have their feelings have changed for you. But I can sense a distance here, like, you know, that card, I'm in the dark. I don't think that you know that of your person, and I'm telling you, he's not sure about the way that you are feeling for him, you know. That's all I can tell you. For you, it was really funny because literally your union, you know, card came in reverse. There was the love there from your DM, but your union, you know, came in reverse. And it was really funny because that's like also like judgment in reverse, you know, and like you being defensive. I can tell you is literally like some of you are shooting themselves in the foot because of the things that they're feeling. Is like literally your traumas or removing you from your union, if it makes sense to you. And I could see, you know, these blessings coming for you, but I'm telling you, you're going to have to deal with that confidence of yours or that ego of yours, because in some way, because it kept coming over and over again, you know. And I know it's not my energy, you know, with all humility, because I'm more of a minimalistic type of person. I don't wear jewelry. There are many things that I don't do, you know. I like perfume and, you know, a shower, a little bit like that, you know. But yeah, I can see that some of you are too focused, you know, on these external things, you know, and that's blocking your victory, or like for you to see this offer that I can see coming your way. And like most of all, it's blocking your union, people, because it's making you like have a perception that's totally false about the situations that you have in front of you. And like your natural instinct is just to fall back, you know, and to find yourself with yourself. That's where you feel more comfortable. I could see it here too. I could also channel some energies about DFs, of air sign, or it may very well be your DM, in the sense that your DM is an air sign. Like I could sense this spying abundantly, quite frankly, with somebody. It's like you worry too much about what your DM does and the people he keeps company with, And I could tell you also that this energy, I could feel it here, that, you're being childish a little bit about the whole thing. You have that mental, element, so it's a little bit like you have convinced yourself that you're doing the right thing and this and that. But if you're honest to yourself, you will see it, and if you have not, you will figure that out in the future. Like there is an element of being a little bit childish when it comes to you, because you don't go like in depth. You just like, I don't know how to say that, but if something, sends you off balance or off track, or like bothers you a little bit off, you go into your little like bubble, in that place where you find yourself by yourself, and again, you auto-destruct, quite frankly, in some ways, what I could see. But definitely that element of being a little bit childish lately, or you will come to this realization sometime soon, when it comes to your DMs. Yeah, and what I saw also from this whole like spying and things like that is like your imagination is getting the best out of you with the card Visualize here. It's literally like you can see your DMs with other women, and at the end of the day, you don't know what his truth is, Again, don't feed, them this energy that you have, because this is exactly what they were meant to do. You gotta find this place of like self-love, like I told you, where you feel like, I may not be perfect, I may not be this and that, but, I'm going to stand by myself. I'm going to be my first protector, lover, admirer, and all these things, and everybody else can get along, with this type of program. But you gotta find that, within you. And I can tell you something that I was channeling for the future as to this like truth that your DM has to reveal to you. Spirit wouldn't tell me what they consisted of, but literally it told me, in your world, like in real life, in 3D, pay attention to the signs, because literally I can tell you, no matter what you believed, for a lot of you, you don't even know your DM, like really, because he came there as the King of Pentacles in reverse right next to the devil, So not just do you have to pay attention to it, but the guy that he pretended to be, he's not that. And with the Seven of Cups energy attached to what I'm telling you, I could tell you that there are a lot of things that this guy is hiding from you. It's not just one thing, and when you figure out, you're going to be a little bit shocked, you finding out the truth about your DM is going to send both of you in another loop, when it comes to this like twin flame experience between you guys. I can tell you that much. So I'm sorry to say that, because it keeps coming back over and over again, but I can tell you when it comes to air signs, and it's been the case for a couple of months now. So, when energies don't change like that, people, I can bet on it, and I've never bet a cent, in my life. So you're definitely dealing with some kind of a liar, people. I'm sorry I gotta say it like that, And I could tell you when it comes to the future, you will see, people, or like some of you, just coming to the realization that it is true, because I could see here this partnership and like, a little bit like somebody caring for you. These two hands, it signified to me that, somebody needs help. You need somebody to catch you, because for some of you right now, you're falling, and the worst part, you're not admitting it to yourself. So again, people can't even know, but if you're true to yourself, for some of you, this may be specific, that you need help a little bit to solve your problems, or to help you go out of this toxic behavior that I saw. And if that's not the case, you will see yourself benefiting, from just these partnerships that I'm seeing. Is literally like each one helps one, or each one teaches one. You're going to find yourself, if that's not the case so far, finding a support system in your life. And we have confirmation of that, meaning it came at the beginning and at the end of the reading. So a thing that I saw about the future, I could tell you as well with this spiritual union. So this time around, the union is there. Mind you, it came in reverse like the first time, like you are the one a little bit who's sabotaging that. And I can tell you something, air signs, you're going to have to find back to the energy of the Empress, the one with the self-confident, who knows who she is, who doesn't need anybody else, to validate her a little bit, And we had a card that's like the shadow card with these two aspects of the same person. Is literally like you're lovable, you're full of light, you're a good person, but somehow you do not see yourself like that. And when you approach people, you give them the same energy, meaning that little bit of the Empress energy. But with you, it's a little bit tricky in a sense. Behind the Empress, there is shadow. We're trying to get you to be the Empress with the light, tagged on you, if it makes sense to you. And with this union, spiritual union card, right there in the middle, I can tell you this is the gate for you. Stop thinking all these negative thoughts about yourself and wanting to see you for people to see you for somebody that you are not, Kill the game and find that light within you, so you can match, the appearance that you want to give out, if it makes sense to you, is what I could channel. And again, your union depends on these type of things here. And it kept coming back, that sense of like low self-esteem, no self-love, comparing yourself to others. It came so often that I can tell you it's a core problem, in your life. I'll tell you something, because this reading encouraged me or inspired me, kept telling me to share a little bit my wisdom and like this place coming from a heart chakra just to help you. See, me, when I go in the streets, I'm literally like an alien. I'm not saying I'm better. I'm just trying to help somebody here. I'm like an alien. I don't watch other people. I don't care what they're wearing, what they look like, I used to sometimes just go ahead and look at, good looking men. I don't even look at men right now, I think. I'm just in my bubble, going from A to B and taking care of what I have to do. I can sense here somebody doing the straight opposite. Because you're looking at others, it makes you feel self-conscious, do you say? You start feeling bad, and then that's a cycle that some of you or somebody that I'm speaking to finds, hard to come out of. But I can tell you that sense of confidence and owing, who you are as a person, like going about your qualities and your strength, instead of focusing on all the things that are not okay with you, is how you get yourself closer to union, and I hope that it makes sense to you. So then right after that, I could see the Divine Feminine card. I drew one card, and then the Divine Masculine was there, just confirming all the things that I told you, Yeah, it was definitely that, And I could see, ask your soul, transformation and joy, is literally like you are going to have to do some soul searching. You're a Divine Feminine, you're doing most of it, but that spiritual element is something that's missing to you. And I can tell you, I could see too that for some people, you're going to have to go back to your faith, because I keep saying, God this, God that, but for you, and it's funny, because it was the same way, I don't remember which sign, I think fire signs, I can tell you that you don't even believe in divinity anymore. It's like a little bit of a blur type of concept, to you. And I can tell you from this communication that I'm having here with somebody, as I could see also like communication and manifestation, you're going to see yourself, changing, because you'll be like, oh Lord, if somebody can see all the things that I'm hiding, behind closed doors, like literally building my own prison to myself, it's because there's a solution for me, and that does not come from me personally. That's like straight from spirit, if you felt that way. And I can see it here. You'll see it through your union. The only person who does not believe in this union is you, and it's not even because you don't believe in your DM, it's because you're sabotaging yourself. I can see it, for some people, because this karmic experience, whether your DM is married or whatever his situation is really, it has been messing with you. That's the thing that's getting the best out of you, And that's, I can see this transformation yet again for you, and the joy that's coming from that. You will find yourself in the future freeing yourself from all of these things. It's like you want your DM right now, but that's how he helps you. He's literally helping you like heal your self-confidence by introducing all this like negativity to you, if it makes sense. So, from this reading, I'd like for you to take away, because those were the cards, from the deck Moonology that I like to use, is that people, you're definitely good enough. You have to stop doubting that, no matter, for whoever this is resonating with, you have to stop doubting yourself and worrying so much, about the karmics. And I can tell you, it is what it is, I told the water signs not too long ago that we're always going to be tested where it hurts, because that's our element, the emotions. You're always going to be tested a little bit, like where it's like where it messes you up, if it makes sense to you. So I can tell you, brace yourselves, because this truth here, it has to manifest before anything else. You gotta learn the truth about your DM. And if you're honest with yourself, or you've been like checking out the signs, is literally like, this is not the first time that you hear that, or this is not the first time that you can actually feel it for yourself, and prepare yourself mentally for anything. I'm not saying that you should live in this energy. I'm just saying, once you take time to breathe and like prepare yourself for things, you don't have to like ruminate or like dwell on that forever, but just like a quick thought and then leave it for God, literally is like brace yourselves, because what he's going to tell you is going to be mind-blowing to you. And then another cycle will begin for you guys, of more like a romantic cycle, but he's going to have to show you who he is. And in a way, you're going to have to start showing the world who you are. So that was my reading for you, air signs. It was longer than that. I really took the time. Thank God, I know how to do this by now, to really like, summarize this thing for you guys, because I thought that it could help somebody, anybody, that's fine with me. So I wanted to send the message out, but work on your self-confidence, people. And I can tell you, for most, stop comparing yourself to anybody, and especially to the karmic. So that was my reading. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe if you did. Take care of yourselves and stay healthy. Bye-bye, people.